this song I haven't heard for a long time. I will give a disclaimer here. This is a song that I did with Pollo Loco. He was one of the guys in Darkroom Familia in the rap group I was in. And the disclaimer is this, is that he has some cuss words on it. I don't know if you ever recognize this or not, but I've never cussed on any song. I was not a Christian, but you will not find me cussing in any songs. But a lot of the features I did, the featured artist would. Hold on here. Okay. And my only thing was that the reason I'm probably not going to review a whole lot of videos with features unless I find a way to edit them. But this one, as you'll see, as I explained the meaning of the song and what was going on, you'll see why I made this song the exception. So I apologize to those that do hear it, but this is the reality of it. And this song I did called Forced to Get Paid. It was a song I did with the artist Pollo Loco. He had just paroled out of Vacaville, Solano State Prison, actually. And he was living with me. I had picked him up maybe a few months after he got out. And this is one of the first songs we did, if I recall. There's a lot of songs we did, but this is one of the first. And I think it's one of the classics. It's been a while since I've heard it. So the first verse is actually him. And let me say this before I go further, that Pollo Loco has passed away. He was murdered in an alley in Merced, California, a few years ago. And I was actually the person that his family called to officiate his funeral. I remember getting the call. Me and Pollo were, at the time of this recording, very, very, very close. And I probably considered him one of my best friends at that time, you know, and unfortunately, things got in the way of that. Just the street life and habits and drug habits actually really ruined things between us. But nevertheless, you know, I was very honored to be asked to do the eulogy and the sermon at his funeral. Anyways, I'm gonna get into this song, guys. The first verse is him, and I'm just gonna go ahead and start it off. Forced to Get Paid.
Yeah, local shit. I'm a lazy motherfucker. This kind of shit can't be happening now. Need a couple more hours of sleep. Local, I stayed out all last night drinking like a motherfucker. Homes, head spinning. Damn. Guess I gotta handle my business though, Wesson. I'm forced to get up, but I'm stuck and I hate this. No breakfast on the table due to terrible conditions. I'm wishing on a star, but I ain't getting bored. Can't find myself a job cause they say I look too hard. Scarred with all the motherfucking drama. I got to get paid in a hurry cause my girl's about to be your mama. So I'm gonna have to find a way. I got this homie who be ballin', let me corner to see what he might say. Ring a ding, ding, ding. He answered the phone, I told him what's up. He said meet me at the roller rink. 9 o'clock and I'm waiting. Then out the blue comes our cool 62 sitting on Dayton's. We greeted each other with a fat ass hug. Transactions going down, ballers showing me love. Quarter key was way tipping the scale lap perfect. Now I'm on the grind trying hard as fuck to serve this shit. In no time whatsoever, I was the man in command with all the flower. Power felt good, I must admit it was like sex to me. Best friend was a tech, always kept that bitch next to me. Life to do because every day's a celebration. Having barbecues large enough to feed the nation. No longer waiting cause I got it made. I guess these are the results when you're forced to get paid.
Hey, fuck you, man! Who put this thing together? Me! That's who! Who do I trust? Me!
Have you ever so dope cause you had to?
Unless you're up in my shoes, you got no clues about my views.
Have you ever so dope cause you had to?
And when I finally lay to rest, I'll be there while this game continues.
Have you ever...
Okay. You know, just listening to it, getting flashbacks and thoughts of that time when Pollo Loco had gotten out. He joined Darkroom Familia, and the moment he joined, pretty much, I'm hard to remember the timeline, But before he really had a chance to take off, he ended up going to prison. And I think it wasn't that long of a sentence, maybe a year and a half, 2 years at the most. And but it was during that small time that Darkroom Familia became nationwide. So when he went in to be a part of the group at that time, we were local. And in the time span of him getting out, we were now nationwide. So it was like a day and night for him. You know, I remember meeting him for the first time. I went down to Merced to meet him. And if I recall right, I wanted to eat a burger at Fat Burger in Fresno. And I picked him up. I think I was in my Impala, my 63 Impala, and we drove down to Fresno, had a Fat Burger. I was able to talk to him and chop it up with him. And the man was very, very talented. There was no doubt. He was a street guy, all tatted up. And he was a fearless man. And he didn't care about anything. At least that's the way I knew him, and that's the way he portrayed himself. And he quickly just became my friend. He joined Darkroom Familia and then got sent to prison. All of a sudden, when he gets out, I remember picking him up when he gets out. I was a dope dealer already, and I was even deeper by the time he got out. And just the opportunity was there. So even though the stuff he's rapping about, some of it was just for the fact of just rhyming, because he didn't have a pregnant girl at the time, like he says in the lyrics. But the lifestyle, the things that he's saying were real. Like he was talking about meeting up with a dope dealer and everything changed for him. And in a sense, he was talking about me, you know? And so we're doing the song, but we're both doing it about that we're forced to get paid, because the fact was that it was really hard at that time, at least as a young kid. Now, my thoughts are different. I'm going to share my thoughts as an adult listening to this now, but at that time, we felt very marginalized. We felt very discriminated against. Now, you know, granted, we looked like gangbangers. The guy was all tatted up. But at the time, you know, you kind of feel like the whole world's against you. You feel like nobody wants to hire you. Everybody's racist against you. Like this whole mindset. And that's kind of the frustration that you hear in his voice, and you're going to hear in my voice right now when I do the second verse. And but yeah, man, this was real. This was real talk. We were living on the north side of Tracy here, close to Parker Market. On the north side, and this is what it was. He was from Merced, but when he paroled, he got in a fist fight with his stepdad, if I recall. But might have just been an argument. I don't know. But I just know he paroled to Merced, and then he couldn't be there. They kicked him out. His family kicked him out, probably because of his stubbornness for whatever reason. But he called me and says, "Hey, I got kicked out. I got nowhere to go." And at that point, I picked him up to live in Tracy, and I'm pretty sure by him doing that, he probably broke parole. I didn't even know if he was on parole. I didn't even ask. Maybe I didn't care. I don't know. I just know that most likely he wasn't supposed to leave his county, and that's Merced County, and he came to Tracy, which was San Joaquin County. But he left a fast life in Merced and started a fast life in Tracy, living with me. So anyways, here's my verse.
Hustle cause you had to, and I'm not talking about looking cool, cause you wanted to. I'm talking about no clothes, no food, and no money. A shout out, just to lick your sink, always ran straight, struggling every day, being raised in a mobile home, and on a rainy night, drum so loud that it hurts my dome. Do you know what I mean about the local?
I feel you,
Seeing all these things made this about to wanna live tranquil. When I try to quit, I can't do it. I get a job, but when I jab, I just can't work for another man. When it gets bad, how much worse can it get? Sick and tired of the same blade on my Gillette.
Damn.
Hell no, Charlie, I'm a broke cholo. I see the visions in the fields and the sun of my abuelo. Can't take it anymore, so I made my choice. Go for broken when I die, then I'll die with the most toys.
Wow. You know, I can hear again a lot of the frustration. I did grow up in a mobile home. I remember when it rained, it would hit so loud because the aluminum ceiling. And then I ended up having my daughter very young, at 17, 18 years old. I remember trying to get jobs, trying to work, and just trying to make ends meet, trying to do the right thing and raising a child. And I got very frustrated very early because I felt like I couldn't provide. I couldn't do what I needed to do. And I remember actually a little before this, I had gotten this job finally, and I was really excited because I felt like, hey, this is something I can do to take care of my daughter, you know. And I remember being real happy to the point where I ended up getting a duplex, and then I bought a car because I had to commute to this job. And in the middle of now having rent and now having this car payment, one day the boss comes to the back and he goes, hey, David, I got to talk to you. And I was like, yeah, you know, and I was actually like a lead person in their shipping department. And I was the only person there, but I was the lead person. I was the only person there because I started off working in the warehouse. So here I am with a promotion. Here I am with the car that I had payments on now. Here I am living in a brand new duplex. I think it was a 2-bedroom. I don't remember actually. I don't remember what it was, 1 or 2 bedroom, but it was mine, you know. And the boss says, today's your last day. I have your final check. He goes, there's nothing you did. He goes, the company decided to move to Mexico and we're shutting down. Like just like I felt the whole rug pulled out from under me. I got really frustrated. I got angry. You know, at first I was hurt. First I was like kind of like stressing, but at that time my mindset, you know, I just turned it to anger. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to let a boss do this to me ever again. I'm going to make my own money, you know, and that's kind of what led me in the wrong direction. And I remember being frustrated. Like I said in that lyric, I said, I'm tired of the same blade on my Gillette because I couldn't even afford Gillette razors at the time, you know, and I just made up my mind. So I'm gonna make my own money and do it the way I want to, you know, and nobody's going to take it from me. And that was kind of my attitude at that time, which is not the way I think now. And I even brought up in that lyric, seeing my grandfather in the fields. You know, I grew up out in the country and we're surrounded by fields, and a lot of them were tomato fields during the tomato season. And I would watch my grandpa, who was an old man. He should have been retired. He should have been, but he was out there working the fields. I remember seeing him as a child working in the fields, you know, and I remember thinking like, man, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that when I get older, you know, and but I felt that was the only life I had, is like to be a field worker, or you're going to do something else. So anyways, I'm going to keep playing.
That's what I thought I was out. They pulled me back in.
Have you ever sold dope cause you had to?
Unless you're up in my shoes, you got no clues about my views.
Have you ever sold dope cause you had to?
And when I'm finally laid to rest, I'll be there while this game
I
continues.
hear the rappers every day and I know they're bluffing. I'm the one living a life that they claim they're suffering. How can you do it when you know you really haven't? You're sitting back at home and drinking wine and just feeling good in your hood and the suburbs. You forgot what it's like cause your body was just a blur. But let me tell you how it really is.
Scusi session.
I gotta watch my back and still take care of my biz. See more than my body living local west. It all trickle down doing damage for the yapping. Some even say gang banging ain't a must. But who in this world can I about to really trust? And I'll just trip on what's around me. I'll be a man, stand up and adapt to my surroundings. No time to cry, there's no time to fake, so I chose to be a baller instead. Have you ever sold dope cause you had to?
I didn't want to accept, but I had to.
Have you ever sold dope cause you had to?
I know it's wrong, but for now, it's what I gotta do.
Have you ever sold dope cause you had to?
Unless you roll up in my shoes, you got no clues about my views.
Have you ever sold dope cause you had to?
And when I'm finally laid to rest, I'll be there while this game continues. So what you gonna do, Essen?
I don't even know, Holmes. Getting rid of this stuff. I got detectives at my door.
Alright.
Tripping neighbors over. Man, neighbors over there looking all over the place. These vatos over here around the corner wanting to set trip.
Man, you know what? I feel you, man. You know what I'm saying? Because you in my shoes, loco. You know what I'm saying? You see my views, carnal.
Yeah.
I guess all we can do now is just deal with this shit, home. You know what I'm saying? Shit, don't let shit just, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna sit back and let shit happen to me, home. Shit, if it comes my way, I'm gonna deal with it. That's
But you know what? What I trip about the most, Holmes, am I even gonna live or be free
man, that's real though.
to even listen to my own release? That's
Yeah. Oh man. You know what I'm saying? Just, you know, how we should just do it already. Just live every day like it's our last, homes. Dennis, and just, if these player haters, these motherfucking punk ass chavanas wanna jackass him. You know what time it is, though. So, we out, man. That's it.
Yeah. I remember at the end right there where we're saying, I think I was saying about these neighbors are all in our business. These vatos want to do this and do that. It brought me back, man, because what was happening was I was selling dope. There was this other hood like a few blocks away, and we started having a lot of problems with him. And there were people were finding out where I lived and stuff, and there was some things that jumped off, some real stuff that jumped off that I'm not going to talk about in this video. But I mean, I'm just saying there was fights that happened. There was bullets that flew at one time, and I remember my daughter crying because of that. I remember my neighbors being nosy, and he was always nosy, trying to figure out what we were doing. I remember at one point doing a drug deal, and we ended up robbing the guy. You know, I mean, just really stupid stuff. You know, that when you live a life like tomorrow isn't promised, like you're just like, man, whatever, you know, tomorrow ain't nothing. You do things that are just really dumb because you're not thinking of the future. You're not thinking like, what is this going to lead to? You know, and if at any time in any of my songs, if I was ever living a reckless life, it was during the time of this recording of this album, Interview with Chicano right here. It's on this album. I was on, what was the label called? I can't believe, I can't even remember what the label was called right now. But it was a label out of Los Angeles. They had released Proper Those. I forgot who else they had released. And it was pretty reckless at that time. What do I say that to anybody now listening to now? If you're listening to this and you think you want to be a dope dealer, you think you want to do that, let me tell you, man, all of the stuff that I bought, all the stuff I spent money on, where is it today? I lost everything. I didn't gain nothing from it. Matter of fact, I've lost money. I lost money because all those years sitting in prison because of drug deals, and I didn't get nothing from it. All I had was everything robbed from me. And you know what the worst thing about it is? Not even the material things that I lost. It's the years of my life that I will never get back. I will never get that back. You know, my youngest daughter, Aaliyah, was 1 year old when I went away, and I got out when she was 7. I missed her first words. I missed her first steps that she took. I missed her first doctor visits. I missed everything. I missed her first kindergarten class. And that's just her. That's not even talking about my other kids. I can never get that back. Never. It'll never turn back. There's people I lost, man. 2 aunts that I was so close to died while I was in prison. I can never get that back. I can never go back and be there as much as, especially one of the aunts, I was so close to her, and I can never go back to be there as she's passing. No, because of the stupid things that I wanted to do when I was sitting in prison, thinking it was all about me, not realizing that when I'm sitting in prison, the whole family gets put on pause. But oh yeah, I was forced to get paid. You know, when you take shortcuts in life, this is what you end up with. You end up in a cemetery or in prison. Because ultimately, a real gangster, that's your end game. Because a real gangster is going to do stuff, and when you do stuff, you're going to get locked up, or you're going to get stuff done to you back. You know, and that's just the reality of it, man. You know, I apologize for the cussing that Boyo Loco did. There was so much dirt I did with him, and all for what? You know, because of drugs, it created a wedge, and it changed this guy that was a great guy, man. Very talented. I say he was probably would have been one of the greatest Chicano rappers ever. He would battle people. He would freestyle. He would just put a beat on and he would straight up, like you knew it wasn't memorized because he would just talk about everybody in the room and the stuff we were doing right then and there, like just off the top of his head. And it was amazing. But the choices he made sent him to an early grave. And the choices I made sent me to federal prison for 6 years. So I hear the frustration, and it just, man, I don't know how I survived it. If you would have been there with me and Pollo Loco at that time, at that year, you would have probably thought we were nuts. But I thank God that I'm still here. I'm still here for my children, you know, and hopefully somebody's hearing this and you're getting something from this, because there is nothing good in that life. There's nothing good, man. The only thing that's good in this life is Christ. So, all right, guys. See you later for the next time.